Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Truth Tonic for Women, where we always try to make it make sense. So today we are here with Shayla Fort, and I'm going to read her credentials because they're quite extensive. She is an RN. She's a registered, is that nurse clinician?
Yes. Well, registered nurse, certified in maternal newborn nursing.
See, that's a mouthful. She got her master's, of course. She is certified in lactation counseling.
Yes.
And you've been doing this for over 14 years.
Yes.
Do you love it?
I do. You know, every job has its parts of it that you don't like so much, but
And what would that be? Actually, what are the parts that you love about your job?
Oh, I know.
Or not your job, but being in the healthcare space.
It may sound cliche, but it truly is the patients.
Nice.
You know, I would think that it's always supposed to be that way, but for me, it really is the patients. And they're actually the ones that inspired me to write my book.
Nice. We're going to get into that in just a second. So you said that your best favorite part, well, I shouldn't say favorite part, but your favorite job is your son.
Yes.
Right? You have a 7-year-old?
I have a 7-year-old son named Camden. He is my everything.
Yeah. So that's your real full-time job.
That is my real full-time job.
Being a nurse is just secondary to that.
Yes, of course.
Did you tell him that you were coming on a show today and that he might be able to see you on TV?
I did not. I should have. He's headed over to track practice right now. Need to keep him focused on that.
Hard shuttling kids to this, that, and the other in this like day and age and conquer a full-time job.
Yes, it is.
And healthcare is very demanding.
Yes. Single moms are the real heroes.
Yeah. Aren't they? My mom was a single mom, and that's one of the reasons why I don't have a kid today, because I was like not taking on that challenge by myself, because it is hard.
Yeah, I say that because my husband works out of town. Oh, okay. So whenever I am having to take on all of the duties, I'm just like, oh my gosh, single moms are the heroes.
That's a lot.
Yes, they really are.
So you guys, we are doing or taking a different turn this season. This is our second season at Truth and Tonic, and what we're trying to do is we don't care if you are thriving or trying to survive. We just want to bring people into your life that are going through things that you're probably going through, so you can get some information and try to learn from what they've gone through, so you don't have to do the same things maybe or do exactly what they do. But we're here to like really bring a positive spin to the things that women are doing in the world, because we are bosses. We really are.
We really
Whether
are.
it's a single mother, working as a nurse, being a housewife, all the things, we are definitely a boss.
Yes.
So tell me, because you guys, I've been trying to get Shayla on the show ever since last season. She's like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. So she finally came out with her book, Your Baby's Not a Doll.
Yes. I'm
Congratulations.
so excited. Thank you.
So what inspired this? What happened?
Well, you know, within my 14 years in nursing, majority has been spent on the mother-baby units as a nurse. And I would say when I walked out of a patient's room, oh my God, your baby is not a doll. And I would say this because when I'm going into the patient's room, asking them certain questions about their pediatrician, if they have their car seat and things like that, I would get responses like, people do that before they have a baby. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But what they did have was suitcases full of clothes. Every time I walked in that room, that baby had on something different. Yes. And so I really felt like it was important for patients to start learning what's important when it's time to have a new life coming into your world, and what that baby actually is going to need to sustain their, their beginning.
So the way that I understand it, and I may be wrong, so we had one book, I think, for parents out there, and that was What to Expect When Expecting. Mm-hmm. And that was going into what to expect when you're expecting.
Correct.
Not what to expect after baby comes out of vagina.
Yes.
Right? Uh-huh. Now it's a whole person.
Right.
So your book delves into what to do for that little person as opposed to walking around with a belly.
Yes. And I do talk a little bit about what to expect during pregnancy. The whole book comes from a point of view of someone who is a friend that just happens to know a lot about babies.
Oh, okay.
And so I wanted to be a
your
nice
aunt coming over for 3 weeks after the baby's born.
And we're just sitting and chatting. And I'm just telling them, okay, you should think about this, think about that. And the main purpose is that I want them to be able to make choices that are informed based off of facts and not opinions. So some of the information is about things that you should be aware of during your pregnancy, like what's going to happen at that first appointment. You know, they're going to start wanting to poke and prod at you, and you know, you may feel like this is an invasive situation, but
because it
really,
is.
I really want to understand why they're doing these things and what choices you have and what they're doing. But also talking about unsolicited advice, well-intentioned grandparents, as I call it in the book.
Oh yeah,
because you know, if it worked for them, they think that it should work for you, right? And so, really trying to figure out how to navigate what's a reliable source of information and how to take what they're saying and not disrespect what they're saying, but also, you know, be able to give them information that's coming from a factual point of view and not just
evidence-based.
Correct.
Evidence-based.
Yes.
So would you say that a couple of experiences in the hospitals, besides the fact that, like, you know, they don't know anything besides like being cute clothes, have you witnessed like a family coming in and telling a newborn mother who's overwhelmed, you need to do it this way is wrong, like, what are you doing?
Oh yes, we hear that a lot when it comes to breastfeeding.
Okay.
You get moms that's like, oh, it's nothing in those titties. And I'm like, oh my gosh. You better give that baby some milk. Give that baby a bottle. It's like, oh my gosh, calm down. These are things that we can, do, talking about pumping, talking about expectations for colostrum and things of that nature. But, oh, yes, we get grandparents for sure that are like, you need to get that baby a bottle. Ain't no milk in them titties.
Oh, my God. That is so crazy. Parents are crazy. They really are. When it's like they did it back in the day, and you're like, okay, well, now we have different things. Like, we have bottle warmers. We don't even have to sit over the stove and warm a bottle with hot water anymore.
Yes, or even just having the positioning of the baby in the crib. A lot of parents, even my mom would tell me about putting them on their back to sleep. I mean, on their their stomach to sleep, and now it's on your back. Yeah, and so having to get her to understand that, you know, that this is the new evidence that's showing why we have changed that and things like that. So all the time.
Let me ask you this. A lot of people, I mean, I did my time as a labor and delivery nurse, and I had to go up to postpartum and do those rounds, and you see all the things that are happening. What made you decide, hey, I want to write a book about it? Like, most people see it happening because you jump from postpartum nurse to educator of those nurses.
Correct.
On postpartum. So, like, what was that spark that you said, wait a minute, I don't
know. A lot of things I do feel like it's divine intervention. Me just becoming a nurse was divine intervention. I used to fight
the same thing. What happened?
I used to fight against being a nurse. It's like, I'm never going to be a nurse. I was being groomed to be a physician. Yeah. And it wasn't until my junior year of college, I remember waking up and saying, I don't want to be a doctor. I think I'm gonna go to nursing school.
Really?
And yes. I used to work as I used to be a hearing screener for newborns when I was in school. And so then I really got to see what the providers look like in the patient's realm versus the nurses. And my personality just fit more as a nurse. And so I didn't want to end my first degree because I was way too close to finishing. So I did finish and then decided to go back to school to become a nurse. Wow. And then I said, you know what? We're just going to work as a nurse. I'll just get as many certifications as I can. That'll be it. Fast forward 10 years later, I get my master's. And then I'm like, okay. So anytime I say I never, things happen. Yeah. And so with this book, it just kept nagging at me. It was like, I would put it down. Then I would say, okay, let me start writing it some more. And then even my husband would be like, oh, have you written on your book at all? And I'm like, no, not today.
How do you go from thinking, or in the back of your head, because seriously speaking, I've wanted to write a book for a really long time. But how do you go from, I want to write a book, to
actually doing it?
Writing a book. Like, that is a huge leap. And how...
It would just be anywhere. I'd be in the car, a thought would come to mind. I would jot some things down in my notes, and I'd come home and I said, okay, let's write about it. And I decided to think, it's my voice. Why don't I share it? Like, why do I feel like
I think it's awesome.
Everybody else is doing what they want to do.
Yeah, but how did you even first chapter?
I don't know. I think my chapter started out of order. It was just based off of what I may have run into that day. So if I ran into a patient who had issues with the car seat and I'm doing car seat studies, I'm like, oh, well, I wonder if I'm going to just jot down some things about car seats that people probably don't know, that if your baby is born premature and you need a car seat study, that certain car seats don't apply for these car seats, and finding out that Amazon has car seats that come from, all over the world that aren't necessarily applicable to what the Department of Transportation says we can use over here. And I would just write these things down. So my chapters never went in order. Mm-hmm. I just decided to just start free writing whatever came to mind that I felt like people needed to know about.
So you get all your chapters together, and then what? Like, how do you go from writing your chapters to like, my book's going to be published? Like, people's going to read it? Like, I can go on Amazon and find it? Like, what is that process?
Well, it's like, okay, I have all these documents. What am I going to do with it? I keep saying I want to write a book. I keep saying I want to do this. And then I have to look into publishers. I'm looking to say, okay, well, how do I want to do this? So I decided I wanted to self-publishing. It was a more affordable route. I'll say that.
Like, so let's just get into that. If you have to pay a publisher to publish your book.
Correct.
What?
Yes.
Get out of here. Yes. No, I really didn't know that. I thought that you sent your stuff in. If they liked what you wrote, then they were just going to publish it.
Now, you could do that to some major publishing houses, but with self-publishing, you let them do the work for you.
So you say, I want this book, and they're going to charge you to figure out how to
they have a whole consultation. They ask me what my book genre is, what it's about, and then they lay out their plans, and you just pick what you want, how much editing you want them to do, and they help design the cover, all of those things. So I just pay, and they do the work for you.
Wow.
Yeah. So even with finding all of that, it's just
what's the RAM of what that costs? If someone wanted
anywhere between $3,000 to $6,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Depending on how thick your book is, what all you want them to do with it. Each time you edit, there's a cost. At least with my publishing company, it was. But it was, some things I would do differently if I ever was decided to do another book, which I do have that thought.
Yeah, but that's a follow up. So you decided to self publish, so you didn't have to pay the $3,000 to $6,000.
No, I did.
You did,
yeah.
So no matter what you do, you're gonna have to. Well, you can send it and hope they like it, and then that's another thing. In self publishing, you have to pay to. Get all
for
them
to do it. Yeah. Okay. And what I do like about my publishing company is that all of the royalties come to me.
You want to shout out your publishing company?
Yes. Shout out to Book Baby.
That's awesome. So you can just set it up so when sales come in, it goes directly to your bank account.
Correct.
Okay, you're listening out there. Anybody who has a dream in mind can put pen to paper and figure out a way to publish a book.
Yes, let the world know your thoughts.
So then what do you do? So after you wrote the book and you met with your publishing company, how does it then reach the people?
What's also nice about Book Baby is they basically open your book up to all major retailers. So anywhere books are sold is where you can find my book. Wow. And so they do all of that distribution. It's a part of your package. So
wow.
Yeah. It makes it very easy.
Well, what about the illustration? How did you come up with this? I mean, I know it's a doll, but like, how did you think this is what you wanted your cover to look like? Did you meet with people? What was that process? Their
advice was to look at what's out there now and to see if anything kind of triggered what your thoughts were as to what you wanted your book to look like. And so I basically just sent them some different images, some different color tones in the doll, I wanted to look playful and inviting. And so they just took my ideas and created a a template for me. And so they would send those images back, and then I would be able to tweak this, like, I don't really like those colors, or, you know, they could just edit it to make it into what my vision of it was. So you just send in what your thoughts are, and they just create something based off of your description.
See, that must be really cool. When you got that image back.
When I first saw it, oh my gosh, Tracy, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is really happening.
I missed your book signing. Like, what was that like to know that this thought has been in the back of your mind for the longest time? You know that even being where you were was divine intervention, because you were going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And you completely changed paths. Yeah. Like 3/4 into your degree.
Right.
And then went back to school. What was that moment like to like see people come up to you and say, wow?
It was, I don't know.
I mean,
it was such a touching
that's a boss bitch moment right there, right?
It was very touching for me to know, like, oh my gosh, I really did this. You know, I set a goal. It took me a minute.
A couple minutes, like I said.
But I got there. And so I felt, you know, so supported by all of my friends and family that came out to see me, to speak with other, you know, strangers that were amongst the bookstore.
What is that like? To talk
scary.
To, like, you know, complete strangers, and you're like, because I know sometimes, even with this podcast, like, I've been in women's health for like 20 years, and I say something, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
was it right?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah,
of course it's right, but you're like always second guessing. Did that information come out the right way?
Correct.
It's like
it's so vulnerable, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this book is on Amazon. People are going to read my book.
Like, Amazon.
Even like, handing it to
do you
people.
Go to Amazon every day and like?
I do. And I'm just, it feels so vulnerable, because I feel like people are going
it's like a piece of your soul.
Yeah, they're reading my thoughts, and you know, they're going to judge them. And you know, I had to come to a place where I'm like, you know what, everybody's not going to like the book. They're not going to like everything that I have to say, or they may not even agree with some of the things that I state in the book, but it's my version. It's my thoughts of my interpretation of the maternal newborn world, and how it has been helpful to some of my friends who, in the book, I talk about a checklist that I created for her when she had her first baby. And,
so this has been like a process, like from way back in the day, being able to like,
so it's like, let me put all these things in one area.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, it must be vulnerable when people are reading your thoughts. Like, it's like, and you had to get to a mindset where
that it's okay if everybody doesn't like it, you know, but it's mine, you know, and it's been helpful to, I'm sure it's going to help someone out there. It has been proven it's been helping.
Someone. It's going to help a lot of people.
Yeah. Because what I thought about with, like we talked about, you may just hear about, you know, what to expect when you're expecting. Some of those books are just way too thick. Yeah. And have way too much medical jargon.
Right.
And with this book, you know, I envision, you know, a new mom sitting at the airport waiting on her flight. This is an easy, like, tidbit points that you can take away and not feel like you're being boggled down by a lot of information. And it has been useful. Like I say, I was able to use a lot of the tools even before creating the book on one of my best friends when she had her first baby. Nice. A whole checklist of things that I thought, this is some things that, by working in my profession, I have found that have been helpful for new moms. And so even when I showed it to her, she was like, oh my God, I had no idea about any of this stuff.
They really don't. You know? They really don't. And if I can just give another example of, like, women are pregnant for 9 months and they come to the hospital to deliver a baby and they think the baby's going to fall out. And I'm like, that is not how it works.
Yeah. Or like, the ones who have a C-section. Yeah. And they bleed and they're like, why am I bleeding? And I'm like, no, it wasn't
someone cut your skin.
Yes, like it wasn't the route the baby came out. It was because you had a baby, and the whole shedding thing happens the same. Yeah. But yes, a lot of things that people just don't
they
know.
Thought they didn't know why they were bleeding that way.
Yes, they didn't know why they were bleeding out of their vaginas.
No, I thought like, why am I bleeding? Like, they cut your skin. But yeah, that is true. They are like, wait, I don't understand.
Like, I had a C-section. Why am I bleeding from my vagina?
I'm like, because.
Let's talk about this.
I'll be back in like 5. Let me just get all the things together.
Yes.
So if I asked you about your baby is not a doll, and I asked you the I don't want to say most, but if I asked you what was your best piece of advice in this book, one, because it's a book full, what would you say? What are you most proud of getting out there that you don't think women know after they have a baby?
That I would probably, and it's crazy because it's towards the end of the book, and it's on postpartum depression. I'm going to conferences now. I'm starting to hear those terms, perinatal mood disorders and things of that nature a lot more now. But that was probably the biggest piece for me, is letting women know that postpartum depression is normal.
Yes.
And that there are resources to support you. And that, if you don't like your baby today, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. And to use your people. So that would probably be the one thing I would want people to really take away is just, use your tribe.
And whatever you're going through with your baby, somebody else has gone through it. There's somebody that you can call to talk to, and you're not alone.
Yes.
Basically.
Without judgment.
Right.
Because it's so normal. It happens so much more than people realize. And it's
really
okay.
is.
It's okay. Your body is going through a lot.
Especially, and I want to put this out there too. If you are having trouble with anxiety or feeling depression off and on before you get pregnant, by all means, talk to your physician about that, because that might get worse after pregnancy.
Right.
And just to be aware of that, like having a baby, everyone thinks that it is like just the happiest time in your life. Yeah. It's like stars and rainbows are shooting out of your vagina with the baby. Yes. But there's a real life element to that, right? That you need to be able to, like I say on this show all the time, have a trusted physician that you can talk to about things, because you're going to have questions and you're going to need honest answers about those things.
Absolutely. Use your people.
Tell me what divine intervention is telling you about its second book.
So my second book.
And a follow-up to that, what will you do differently if you would do something differently?
Oh, yeah. So many lessons I feel like are learned whenever you have self-published a book on your own. I was never a journalism major, anything like that. These were purely my thoughts on how to help future patients. So for my second book, it's kind of going in a different direction. A lot of people, when they think about getting pregnant, growing up, probably thought if you just sat too close to a boy or sat on his lap, you would get pregnant. Right. Or, anytime you had sex, you could get pregnant. And people don't realize that it's a whole nother side of women who are having difficulty getting pregnant.
But let's back up a little bit, just so you can get pregnant very easily having sex. Okay. You can't sneeze and get pregnant, but you can have sex once and get pregnant. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about the people with infertility issues that way.
Yes. So talking about infertility and more so pregnancy and infant loss. Being someone myself who has had quite a few losses. That's why I always call my son my miracle baby and my everything. But it's really targeting the tribe that we spoke about before. A lot of them, they really want to be there to support you, but they don't know how. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. And so my next book would be kind of geared towards just talking about the emotions that you feel when you are going through something like that, and how they can better support you in that.
Right. And so everybody out there listening, you need to know that having a miscarriage can be completely normal. Usually you have a miscarriage because your body knows that embryo, that pregnancy is not a good pregnancy. So it's the body's way of getting rid of something that's not working. That's not going to be healthy. Right. But there's a whole slew of other reasons why you have a miscarriage, and whether you have it because it's in your first trimester and your body's trying to get rid of it, or if you're a late pregnancy and it's a stillborn, there's still a lot of emotions that come along with that. And that would be a great book to talk about because people don't. In my career, I think that was the hardest thing that I dealt with. So I was a nurse and I dealt with it being a nurse by the bedside, helping them get through that. And then as a midwife, like being the person that had to administer all of that. You know, in some cases you still have to deliver a baby.
Right.
So it's hard on us, but so I can't even imagine what it's like for the person that's going through it.
Yeah. My tribe, you know, they were very supportive, but they even admitted, they're like, I don't know what is
we don't
it
know the words.
Yeah, we don't know the words. What do you want me to do? How can I help you? And you know, a lot of times it would just be your presence. Like, you know, we don't have to talk. Just being here.
Bring me some soup.
Yeah. And then there are also those
Coke.
phrases that people don't realize that when they're well intentioned, but they can also be very hurtful. Right. You know, going through pregnancy loss, you also have people who are like, oh, when are you going to give Camden a sibling? You know, I'm like, you have no idea.
The people out there, for the people in the back of the room, stop asking people when they're going to get pregnant, when they're going to have another one. Why don't you have kids? Because.
Yes,
it's
just
because I don't want to. It's because I can't. It's because it's too late. It's because I don't have the money. It's because.
It's just because.
And it's none of you.
And it's because
none of you?
None of your business.
Yeah, it's none of you.
It's none of your business.
Stop asking people. If you think they look pregnant, wait 9 months. If they didn't have a baby, it's okay.
Or at least wait until they say something about it before you start asking questions. I said, oh my gosh. Because I used to be one of those people who would just ask or look at someone and say, oh, I bet, you know, they're pregnant or whatever. And then I turned into that patient. It turned to that person who was asked that question. And I'm like, oh, no, it's just the food, baby. But thank you. And, you know, I'm still trying.
I like ice
don't
cream.
Realize that
I like ice cream next.
Or, I just actually had a miscarriage a week ago, but thanks. And I'm still trying to lose that weight. But, you know. So don't ask. Don't ask.
Don't ask. Don't ask.
Don't ask.
Very much appreciated.
Yes.
We'll let you know.
Exactly.
To be continued.
Yes.
So I feel like there could be a whole series. There's like, you know, your baby's not a doll, dealing with miscarriage, then postpartum depression, the more you get into it.
Yeah.
That could be a book.
Like the way you're thinking.
I like the way I'm thinking too. So, what I always like to say is that you are exactly where you're supposed to be at the exact right time. Right? So you say it's like divine. You're right where you're supposed to be right now. Yeah. And how do you feel knowing that you're still in the hospital system? So like you guys, Shayla and I worked together at a hospital here in Atlanta for a couple of years. You're still giving back. You're a full-time parent, and now you're an author of a book, and you're thinking about your second one. Yeah. Like, how does that feel juggling all those things? Yeah. And knowing, because I can see it on your face. You are at peace with, like, you're happy. Like that, you're centered. Yeah. Like this, I think this book centered you in some kind of way.
Yeah, I definitely get that. It's just, I mean, like I said, it was very vulnerable. It was a space that I feel like my entire year stepping into spaces that I've never been into.
Do you think that was a lesson for you that you needed?
It might have been
of vulnerability to like.
Yeah, I started the year off in January, which is honestly when I had my most recent miscarriage, and explaining to the world on Facebook about not asking.
Beautifully done, though. I read it. Beautifully done.
And so even doing that for me was just like, oh my gosh, I'm just letting people see too much of me. But it was very healing in doing that instead of feeling like I'm alone, because a lot of women I know feel alone in that process. Yeah. And I would just like to say, even with putting that message out, I had so many messages back, text messages, calls about people's experiences that I have known my entire life and had never known, like
Never
they never
knew.
shared that information. They just, it's a piece of shame almost that I feel like some women have in talking about that. And so that was, even hearing their stories was healing for me.
Right.
And then moving into, new roles with my full-time position. And then the release of my book came out right after that. And so it was very overwhelming, but a place where I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm coming into a space that's mine, that's feeling like a little just coming into my own, really being able to just shed fear and doing things even while I'm scared, because it's not only healing me, but it's healing somebody else. And then having my husband there with me throughout, especially that miscarriage. I mean, that man gets on my nerves, but he is my rock.
Ditto. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. So even with book signings and trying to book different promotional events and things like that, it's just, knowing that, okay, he's like, okay, well, what else do we need to order? And, my sister jumping in and saying, well, when, do you need me to be at the booth with you or something like that? Like that all has been helpful and getting me through these moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really doing this. Am I really
Yeah. So, I mean, I am so grateful that you finally decided to come on the show.
Me too.
But this is why we do the show. Just like what Shayla was just talking about, being vulnerable. It's vulnerable for me to be here, but I feel like women need to hear other women being successful, going through the trenches, doing all the things that women do, because we're so multifaceted that you can't just put one label on us. We're not just a mother. We're not just a nurse. We're not just a doctor. We're not just. We're everything.
The house literally does not function without us.
We are everything, you guys. We're everything. And beautifully made, right? In our own skin. But it's really great when we get to figure out how to be comfortable in our own skin. And I think that this book
has helped me do that.
Yeah. Completely. Like glow.
Thank you.
Glow. Okay, you guys. This is the book. Your baby is not a doll. Really, it's not. I mean, the clothes are cute, but
yes,
they're living.
Let's go a little deeper.
Thanks so much for being here. We want to see you again when you write your second book.
All right, sounds good to me. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, I hope we made it make sense to you. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching Truth and Tonic for Women. If you have any questions, leave a comment and let us know. Also, follow us on social media to interact with the community. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.